It's the Final Word Cricket Podcast, World Cup Daily, day 27. Adam Collins and Cam Ponsonby with you for Pakistan and Bangladesh at Eden Gardens, for Westfield, London, Westfield, Stratford City. More extra, less ordinary. Cam, sum it up in 30 seconds.
Pakistan won comfortably. Bangladesh had a bat. They were 23 for 3. Shaheen Shah Afridi went really well in the power play for the first time really in the competition. Bangladesh recovered to 102 for 3. And that turned into 204 all out. In reply, Pakistan, new opening partnership, Abdullah Shafiq with Fakhar Zaman in for the first time in the competition, breezed it. They went past 100 together. They got to 128 before they lost the wicket. Mm-hmm. They lost 2 more before they reached the target. 7-wicket win, incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, inside 33 overs, they chased it better than a run a ball, which is what they needed to do after losing 4 on the trot. Pakistan, they needed to recover the situation. They were in last chance saloon, and they've their semi-final hopes are alive, although it is a little bit tangential, and we'll come back to that later on. Bangladesh, as it turns out, are the first team formally eliminated.
Yes.
Technically speaking, England
feels ludicrous.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Jeff and I have gone round the houses a little bit on this as well about what is possible versus what's very extraordinarily improbable. Yes, technically, England could feasibly make it, although they won't. And Bangladesh are now out of the competition. 6 losses on the trot, worst in World Cups for them. Haven't fired a shot. They had a hard-held win against Afghanistan, which I reckon in hindsight flattered them. The way that Afghanistan played on the opening day, they'll be the ones who lament the way that played out.
Absolutely.
Because if Afghanistan pick up that game against Bangladesh, and they should have, they're only maybe 2 wins away from a semi-final berth, and they lost a bit of net run rate paint that day to Afghanistan because they were bowled out cheaply. But yeah, so Bangladesh, along with England, the huge disappointments of World Cup 2023.
It's weird that Afghanistan-Bangladesh game now kind of seems like the most out of kilter with the competition. Not even the Netherlands, South Africa. Like, you can have upsets, you can have moments where teams really play above their station.
Yep.
But just in kind of the flow of the tournament where the two teams are now, it feels really quite like a shocking and bizarre result. It's so much so with Bangladesh. If you go back 9 months, a year ago, it was quite a trendy opinion for people like us who kind of can show off to their mates and go, actually, if you're paying attention, Bangladesh, keep an eye on them for the World Cup. It's going to be conditions they're familiar with. They've got a really strong ODI side at the moment. And I was reading Mohammed Assam's piece, who's the Bangladesh correspondent for Cricinfo, and it is amazing when you can kind of put your hindsight maths together, and he lists back over the last year and just how kind of slowly but steadily things have fallen apart for Pakistan. Bangladesh, of most high profile, Tamim Iqbal retiring, then coming back and then being left out. And like Shakib Al-Hassan said very publicly that Tamim's being childish. There was a very public spat. And also when I read that, if the captain of the team is saying Tamim Iqbal's being childish, that is not an isolated opinion. It can't be. That's not got to be a party line of sorts from.
You got to be carrying the room basically. If you say something like that, or you'll get rolled yourself.
Correct. And so it just gives an example of what's obviously been quite an unhappy camp for the last however many months. They switched to a rotation policy in around kind of June, July, which was kind of given the idea of let's have a look at everyone before the World Cup starts. But the result was they weren't 100% sure of their best combinations, and also their kind of results kind of tapered off. So, for instance, they lost to New Zealand before the World Cup, and they went, it's fine, we're just working things out. Whereas actually you can now say, well, probably just winning's the best habit. Just pick who you think's the best team and let kind of natural selection take its course.
Right, yeah. And instead today, I mean, guys who they have developed through that stretch of time, not quite so much Tanzad Hassan, who came in just before the World Cup, but made a half century early on and looked like he was a real prospect. But out to Shaheen, leg before in the first over with a hooping delivery. It's been the World Cup of wickets and appeals and reviews in the first over, hasn't it? This is probably the 6th time we've seen something happen in the first over of an innings. Madhushanka yesterday. We saw Shaheen have a dreadful review last week. Bolt's been guilty of that as well. Likewise, Mitchell Stark. There's been lots of action in the first over, not least from the left armers, come to think of it. I think all the aforementioned bowling left arm. In fact, they all are. That's weird. Anyway, so Tanzim was on the wrong side of that today. And then before you know it, I mean, there's that good catch from Osama Mir. We might come back to in a bit to get rid of Shanto, who has looked so good at times, right? Shanto in the last 18 months has turned himself into a top-class performer in bilateral cricket, but it hasn't really translated here. They were relying on Mahmudullah, the veteran, yet again. They put on 79 here in Lytton Dust to give them a vaguely credible platform before Shakib comes in and makes 43. But Shakib has to wait so long to pull the trigger. There's that moment in the 38th over where he hits 3 boundaries on the trot. 2 of them hit those practice pitches, which I absolutely adore at Eden Gardens. Old school. Fish and I went into that the other day a little bit when they played there then. But no, the balls that he went after, rather that the over he went into it trying to take down a bowler, it's so deep into the innings. The best they can probably hope for from there is 230, 240, and then, Shaheen comes back, gets a wicket, and it falls away quickly. Muhammad Wasim Jr. hitting the stumps on 3 occasions.
I mean, I think you've been kind to Shakib there, saying like he was waiting to pull the trigger. He's so kind of painfully out of form at the moment. He went back to Bangladesh to have a hit with his mentor, came back, he's dropped himself down to 6th in the order. Like, can you imagine if, like, say, Joe Root was ODI skipper for whatever world, and like he was like, lads, I'm feeling so out of nick, I'm going to have a hit at 6. And you saw him back until you carry on with Joe Root. You look up and there's that old cliche about Joe Root. You go, oh, he's on 20. And I looked up today and I went, no, genuinely, how is Shakib on 20? I have not seen him hit a ball at all. And he was just, he was pained at the crease. It really endeared him to me in a way I hadn't really seen him before, because when players have played as much cricket as someone like Shakib Al Hasan has, I think it's often quite easy to assume like, they don't care that much. But you could see him literally kind of pained at the wicket. I think he was on 1 off about 15. As you said, he was 46 off 63 in the end, 43 off 64, beg your pardon. And he had those kind of 3-4s kind of within there. He was really, really trying his absolute best to kind of keep that innings together. But they were kind of, Bangladesh were nowhere. A note for the top for the Tanzil Hassan wicket. Shaheen Shah Afridi's 130-yard wicket.
Yes.
Record-breaking time, I believe, as well. 23
years of age, already got 100 wickets. I remember his first wicket in international cricket. I was there for it at Harare in 2018 when he was this 18-year-old with the hair that looks like a helmet, which he still has, that square head of his. But what a gifted cricketer. There'll be hundreds and hundreds more at international level, provided he keeps his body right, and all the evidence is that he will. Lytton Dust getting out when he did to Ifti as well. A guy who they need to kick on from that point, which meant that, chasing 205, Pakistan were able to go, right, we can size this up. We can go up this quickly. They strike a lot of boundaries in the power play. Fakhar Zaman, final word favourite. Jeff and I have been backing him in for years. We've never quite understood how he gets out of fashion with selectors. Okay. I know why it is. He has runs of low scores and he finds himself out of the team. He started this World Cup in the 11. They said they were going to give him an extended run. They get rid of him. He's back again. Abdullah Shafiq, who's seeing them beautifully, his 4th score above 50 in the tournament. Imam Al-Haq's the collateral damage, and he's got a really tidy one-day career behind him, but they've seen fit to change it up, go with the more explosive Fakhar. Hit 7 sixes today, the majority of them over deep mid-wicket, and one of them, Cam, was fucking huge.
It was amazing. It was great because on commentary they got overexcited and they were like, that's the biggest 6 of the tournament, and like the number comes up. And it's not the biggest, but it felt like it because you could hear kind of, it was a shot of pure muscle memory is the way I can describe it. Like, there was nothing wrong with the delivery.
Yeah.
They then showed a pitch map, and it was kind of like the same ball that people just pat back down the ground. And for whatever reason, he just picks it up over square legs. So he's had to catch it completely flush if all the angles are going to have to work the best. And it flew so quickly how far back. And they had a great shot of him afterwards, just smiling at Shafiq at the other end, like, I fucking caught that one, mate. Don't you worry about me.
He hit another 6 to bring up his 50 off Tashkent, which was just as good a shot, I thought, because Tashkent bowls a lot more pace and hits him back over his head. I think it actually cleared the sight screen. It looked to have on the replay I saw, which took him. Actually, Abdullah made it to 50 before him. Played more conservatively. Abdullah's, day out doesn't look as impressive. 68 from 69, but did hit 2 sixes after reaching 50. And Abdullah Shafiq, I mean, he is so graceful. The way he plays down the ground. We've spoken a lot, Jeff and I, about his play behind point and how well he waits on the ball and plays under his eyes. I declared last year when we were in Pakistan that he'd make 10,000 test runs, and I stand by that. But I love the fact that that's now translated through to 50-over cricket, and they've got a partnership that, if all things are equal, are going to be as dangerous as any other partnership in this tournament. The question becomes whether they can get themselves into calculation again. There'll be many people out there who will talk about 92, who will talk about that game at Adelaide when they were on track, they've been resold for 70 odd, then the rain starts against England, they get out of that with a no result and they win every other game thereafter to go on to hold up the trophy. I accept there's a temptation to do that. I would just caution, though, that losing all the games they did, even if they win 5 and lose 4, they would need to win from here against New Zealand. Bangalore on Saturday, that's a pretty big game.
That's a big game.
New Zealand is a
You're
team they
taking
could
numbers up, yeah.
theoretically knock off and overtake, probably. And in England at Calcutta, who won't have anything to play for. So if they won both of those games, looking at net run rate at the moment, Pakistan are still just on negative, but effectively neutral, and New Zealand are 1.2. So if they pump New Zealand, that's actually, you know,
Okay.
in Aussie rules speak, that's an 8-point game. You know, you can win the game and you can get the percentage back. So it's so I can see that being where it might all hinge, but New Zealand have been underestimated throughout the course of the tournament so far and nearly chased 388 3 days ago.
But what does it mean, Adam? What does it all? Every single permutation I go through, it's like, well, this team has to win every single one of their matches, and the other team has to lose all their matches. I think we can stop talking about Sri Lanka, Netherlands, and even
even
every other
Afghanistan.
team in the competition.
I really don't think because the way the net run rate thing breaks down, I don't think we need to worry about them in semi-finals context. We can talk about them in a Champions Trophy 2027, 2025.
What a great tweak to the competition, by the way. Just to fuck it up. Not announce something. They go, oh, you know how there's been all these dead rubbers? No, there's not. There's life in the competition, yeah.
And apparently, as Jeff and I have talked about on the weekly show, which will go out tomorrow, they knew this all along. It's just that England never really thought they'd be in this situation.
But most teams didn't know.
Well, it sounds like
the Netherlands didn't know.
Didn't they?
No, they didn't know because they didn't have a representative at the meeting. This is the thing. It's just decided at this meeting. There must have been an email that goes out. Everyone goes out, carries on with their life. But no one, it doesn't.
100 people CC'd on it. You don't read it because you're like, oh, fuck, someone else will read it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why none of the press realised. Shakib Al-Hassan said it in the presser, and everyone went, fuck, what did you just said? Is that what's going on?
That's how it worked previously. It's not been done on rankings in the past. It's been done on World Cup finish. So Bangladesh, just on that while we're there, you know, they were semi-finalists the last time a Champions Trophy was held. They had a brilliant victory against New Zealand to make the semis, and then they lost to India at Edgbaston, a game that Jeff and I covered. But they're not going to make the tournament the way they're travelling. Penultimate, they're in 9th and England are in 10th, and pending results, I can't really see them getting out of that slot. They've got Sri Lanka and Delhi on Monday and Australia at Pune to finish the group stage. So, yeah, you'd say that Bangladesh, having been semi-finalists last time, won't get there. And that will be that. But yeah, with Pakistan, it could happen. They could get on a roll. Mohammad Wasim Jr. is an underrated bowler. We saw him at the T20 World Cup last year. Bowls quick, hits the stumps, 2 in and over today. Then at the very end, an awkward strangle to get his third bowled. But he bowls with enough nip. Of course, Shaheen's a superstar who is now taking wickets again inside the power play, which was the one, for whatever reason, question mark about his output so far in this tournament. The experience of someone like Hassan Ali, who's in the mix there as well. Like they are a better side than it appears. And Iftikhar Ahmed, who took 1 for 44 openings today, haven't even mentioned Big Ifty yet. We love him.
I think the touching on the bowling attack is actually a really good point in that because of the comfortable nature of the victory. The change that Pakistan made, they made 3. So Fakhar Zaman came in for Imam, Alga Salman came in for Mohammad Nawaz, and Asam Mir came in for Shadab Khan. It basically meant that they then opened up with Ifti, and then Haris Ralph had to bowl earlier.
Yes.
And he's been doing very poorly in the start of the innings, to be doing much better at the back end of the innings. But thankfully for them, it all kind of worked out, and they only had to rely on those 5 bowlers. They took all 10 wickets. But Mohammad Wasim, a great example of numbers on the card don't necessarily dictate who played the most important role. He's got 3 for 31 off 8. Shaheen Shafari's got 3 for 23 off 9. You go, oh, it's not too different. It's like, no.
Yeah,
Mohammad Wasim got the best cheapies ever. He's clean. He's literally cleaned up 8, 9, 10.
Oh, well, Mehdi Hassan, I don't know why Mehdi Hassan was batting down at 8 today. He's batted at 4 in the most recent game.
Yeah.
That's weird. He's better than that, and he makes 25 from 30 to give them a vague chance of getting the 220 to 30. It didn't happen. But still, your point stands that Shaheen's wickets were worth more than Mohammad Wasim Jr.'s. But Mohammad Wasim Jr. last year at the T20 World Cup bowled really quickly in the semi-final, I think it was, and helped get them through to the decider at the MCG. So he has got that experience on the big stage. Speaking of Haris Ralph, let's go to the final word, Hall of Fame. Final word, Hall of Fame, is brought to you by Westfield London, Westfield Stratford City. I have a different kind of ad to tell you, a different kind of promotion today.
Right.
Let's go.
I'll react accordingly.
Okay. There is plenty to do whenever you visit Westfield, London and Stratford City. That much we know. But there's no better thing for you to do on your next visit than donate blood. The UK is facing a shortage of O negative and B negative blood. And to ensure the supply in our hospitals remains at necessary levels, we're inviting everyone to drop by to the NHS blood donation bank in each of the centres. If you don't know your blood type, a simple finger prick test will let you know straight away, and you can give blood immediately if you have the good stuff in you. If you do know your your blood type and want to donate, book directly at blood.co.uk. Does what it says on the tin. Westfield, London, Westfield, Stratford City, more bloody extra, less bloody ordinary. That's an important message. So if you're of a mind to doing that, the fact that they're short on O negative and B negative at the moment. So support Westfield in that push before Christmas. So your final word moment of the day, Cam.
Yeah, I think I'm A positive, so they've got plenty of stock. I haven't done
A
it in a while,
plus?
actually. Yeah, I'm A plus, I reckon.
good.
I've done a couple
Is
of
that
times.
I have no idea how blood types is.
I
Is
don't
A
know,
plus
but
the...
A plus is really common. It made me very sad when I found out.
Oh,
So I
right.
was a bit more special. Yeah, I've done it a couple of times, and very slow. A very slow blood dispense. I didn't realise it'd be a particular weakness of mine. Hall of Fame. Can I go roundabout? I've got one Hall of Fame moment, which is Lytton Darson, how long it took him to get off the pitch after he got out. One thing I wanted to touch on is I got really frustrated. So Hall of Shame, for one of cliches, or whatever. Or another sense of annoyance at kind of ICC, BCCI scheduling this competition, because there was a really good crowd in today at Calcutta, and it was like, God,
They should be playing at Calcutta 10 games there.
Oh my God.
It's the best ground in India. And I mean, in terms of the history of that ground, just play heaps of games there. Why would you deny yourself that?
But it's also in the east of India, which is borders Bangladesh. It's kind of, I don't know my geography perfectly, but I remember chatting to a Bangladeshi colleague about this, and he was like, it'd be so frustrating. There's so many Bangladeshi families that still live or have family in West Bengal, and if you have more games in that part of the world, there's going to be more people who come from Bangladesh and hop over for a game or whatever. And so I was getting so frustrated because it was talking about it like, oh, what a surprise, this is a really good crowd for a midweek game. Not Bangladeshis in today, that's so strange. And I was like, surely this was like part of the thought process before. And it's the same, because I remember looking it up. Bangladesh played 2 matches in Kolkata of their 9. That's all it is, only 2. Sri Lanka plays 0 games in Chennai, the most southern kind of ground, and also big Tamil population
Huge
as
Tamil
well.
population, yeah.
And you're just kind of tearing your hair out in terms of like the easy wins that have been missed in this competition, which has been frustrating on a number of counts.
At least we got to see lots of games at Lucknow.
Exactly.
Yep.
Does that make me happy? Does that make you happy?
Not really.
Fuck. Okay.
Anyway.
But my actual Hall of Fame was Lytton Darce. He chipped it to mid-wicket when he was getting out. And he got the timer up on him, and he was 25 seconds before he left the wicket, because he was so distraught that he just prodded this incredibly nondescript offie from Ifti. And it was a sad day.
Yeah, that was the moment when it all turned for Bangladesh. My Hall of Fame moments relate to 2 Pakistani cricketers. Firstly, Haris Rauf. Now he had 18 taken from his first over against Australia.
Good stuff.
Had 24 taken from his first over against somebody else. I can't remember now. A game they lost.
That's a lot.
Today he's got 13 taken from his first 5 balls, and then Big Harris picks up the big wicket. Mushfiqur Rahim, the wicket keeper, the veteran, finds the outside edge, and up goes the finger of Big Dick Kettleborough to send him packing. So I was happy for Harris, having had these chastening experiences in his first over, to get in the book straight away and to end what was already an expensive over. I think it was Lytton hitting the boundaries. Then Mushy was trudging back to the pavilion, and also Samamir, bless. I mean, I feel like all of our. There was so much goodwill towards this guy after dropping that catch off David Warner in his first World Cup game a couple of weeks ago at the Chinnaswamy. It's the most straightforward chance you could ever imagine. Warner goes on to make 162, I think it was, and Osama's day got progressively worse, made a duck, had 88 runs taken from him and all the rest of it. To take that blinding catch, and it was a blinding catch, to get rid of Shanto, the second wicket early in the power play in Shaheen's second over. I know it's not his first good catch of the tournament, but it just feels like he's a guy who was a bit of a laughing stock 2 weeks ago and might still yet have himself a bit of a World Cup, especially now it feels like he's ahead of Shadab Khan in the pecking order.
Yeah, it was that drop. It was nauseating watching that, because I just think my heart. I never think I have more sympathy for people than when I see them drop a catch.
Yeah.
Because I just know how terrible they're feeling and how rude 10 other people on that pitch are feeling towards them. And then to kind of see him come out the other side of it, take an excellent catch. Still, when I saw the clip, I went, "Oh, that was a good catch." And I went, "Oh, Sama, good lad."
Yes. Get him over here. Play some club cricket next year. It'd probably be standard. Anyway, now where are we? That's it. That's the final word Hall of Fame. Tomorrow, we have New Zealand against South Africa, which is a pretty big game. South Africa have only dropped 1 game. New Zealand have lost 2 in a row. I know they nearly chased down 388, but if they lose the third game in a row, that game between Pakistan and New Zealand in Bangalore on Saturday will be gigantic.
Exactly. So it's one of those where it's a bigger game if South Africa win than if New Zealand win. New Zealand win, it kind of takes everyone away from that pack. Still a bit.
That's exactly it. That's at Pune, and Jeff's there doing that game on comms, so he'll be with me after play. Thank you, Cam. As always, you'll be back with us. I think you're back pretty soon from memory.
I'm doing the weekend, I
doing
believe.
The Saturday. And you know what? Saturday we're going to be recording. You haven't told you this yet.
Oh,
we're recording Saturday's show in my pub.
Oh, yeah.
Before, I don't know if you want to cover the football afterwards, but
Can't wait.
I'm going to the football afterwards. That's it. Our coverage is thanks to Westfield London, Westfield Stratford City. More extra, less ordinary. Donate some blood. Blood.co.uk. And Bangladesh are dreadful. Pakistan, maybe, just maybe, there could be something there for them. Bye.